Is Nico Williams to Arsenal back on? That is the question we are going to answer this video. We're also going to be talking about Pedro Neto and Joao Pedro, two other players that Arsenal are being heavily linked to. Mikel Merino looks like it's going to be completed within the next 48 to 72 hours for around £25 million. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content, please do go down and hit that subscribe button. We're going to have match reaction today from Bayern Munich versus Tottenham. That game is set to kick off shortly. But Nico Williams to Arsenal in a huge offer. This is what's trending on various websites. Now, before we get into the ins and outs of Joao Pedro and Pedro Neto and Nico Williams, if you're new to the channel, please do go down, hit that subscribe button. We just hit 17,000 subscribers, and now we are closing in on 17,100. So if you enjoy the content, the road to 20k is well and truly on. Make sure you go down and drop a like on the video. Yesterday's videos hit 1,000 likes, which is absolutely unreal. Now, Barcelona were the club that were chasing Nico Williams' signature. Laporta, who I believe is the CEO of Barcelona, has come out and basically said that they want him as their priority signing, and they believe that they've sorted out their financial issues and they're now in a stronger position when they were 6 months ago. But they've kind of changed their strategy, Barcelona, and are now have just agreed a deal with another one of the Spanish stars in the Euro 2024, and that is Dani Olmo. Exclusive: Barcelona reach agreement with Dani Olmo on contract until 2030 and send new official bid. 55 million euros guaranteed. He did have a release clause, but that is now expired. 4 million in easy add-ons and 3 million difficult add-ons, which will probably be something like winning the Champions League. Now, you're probably thinking, Henry, why on earth are you talking about Barcelona signing Dani Olmo? Well, the links from Barcelona to Nico Williams have gone a little bit quiet. And a few articles are coming out saying that Benjamin Sesko was the #1 attacking target for Arsenal, closely followed by Nico Williams. Now, we know Benjamin Sesko signed a new contract at RB Leipzig. We know that. Now that the links have gone a little bit quiet linking Nico Williams to Barcelona, all of a sudden, transfer journalists, reporters are now linking Arsenal with a move back to Nico Williams. Now, of course, Mikel Merino, that signature, very, very close to him wearing an Arsenal shirt, should be done in the next 24 to 48 hours. And then you've also got the likes of Ricardo Calafiori, who is now in an Arsenal shirt. Nico Williams, according to various sources in Bilbao, is open to staying at Bilbao, but he's also open to leaving the club. Now, of course, he's trying to show his loyalty to Bilbao. Of course, that is the team that's given him the opportunity to play. He's won the Copa del Rey. He was very, very important to Spain in the Euros. But Arsenal haven't gone away and are still incredibly interested. Various sources are saying he wants to move. Various sources are saying he wants to stay. This is going to be an interesting one for the remainder of August to see where he actually fits in terms of if Arsenal sign Nico Williams on that left-hand side, that front three is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The best front three in the Premier League, in my humble opinion, if they get Nico Williams done. Now, at the moment, they're linked with the likes of Victor Gyökeres. They're linked with the likes of Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro from Brighton. A few links today. We're going to break those down. But just think for a second. If Williams is on the left-hand side, that for me is absolutely stupid. Nico Williams and Bukayo Saka in the same front three with the options of Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Trossard and Martinelli as well would be absolutely stupid. Now, I'm going to bring up a lineup which I think could happen if the likes of Merino and Nico Williams hypothetically were going to join Arsenal. Now, I've been saying this for a number of days / over a week now that I think with Merino in the side, I think you could see Declan Rice playing a deeper, more number 6 rather than playing an advanced 8 role that we've seen in the last year or so in an Arsenal shirt. I also think he can play the number 6 at a very high level. We've seen him do that in an England shirt. It's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal rotate their defenders with the likes of Ben White, Timber, Calafiori, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Kivior. They've got depth for days, for absolute days. Genuinely have got, for me, the best defensive options in the Premier League now. I'm going to be honest. Now, when I look at Arsenal going into the first game of the season, if hypothetically Nico Williams and let's say, for instance, Nico Williams and Mikel Merino signed, this is what I think Arsenal could line up for first game of the season. Now, this team, for me, is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Obviously, this is all hypothetically, but this could be something that Arsenal have first game of the season if they get Nico Williams and Mikel Merino over the line. That is absolutely stupid, that team. Declan Rice playing a deep role. I reckon he'd be something like that. Mikel Merino as an 8. Odegaard more advanced in a 10. Nico Williams and Saka will be so wide and Havertz tucking in. That team for me wins the Premier League. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. That team wins the Premier League. You'd have the brilliance of Bukayo Saka and Nico Williams. You'd have the brilliance of Declan Rice holding it down in the 6. You'd have the creative spark of Martin Odegaard. You got the defensive attacking brilliance of Ben White and Ricardo Calafiori. You got the best centre-back duo in the Premier League and one of the best goalkeepers in the league. That team would be absolutely ridiculous. Plus, if they don't get Nico Williams over the line, let's say hypothetically he decides to stay in Bilbao, they're also linked with Pedro Neto. So you could have Pedro Neto on that left-hand side. Now, this would really piss me off, I'm not going to lie, because Tottenham are linked with Pedro Neto as well. And we've identified him as one of our attacking options. You could have Pedro Neto on that left-hand side. Or you could have Martinelli. Or you could have Leandro Trossard. It puts them in a very, very strong position going into next season. You know, we're going to now talk about the links coming out from the Standard, linking Arsenal to Joao Pedro. And this is an interesting one for me because Joao Pedro, I think, is a good technical player. But I'm very interested to see how this works out with regards to his contract that he has. Obviously, they signed him from, I believe it was from Watford for big money. He joined, obviously, Brighton, and now Arsenal eye Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro has emerged as a potential target for Arsenal. The Gunners are likely to be in the hunt for a new striker before the end of the window, particularly with Eddie Nketiah moving closer to securing a move. Football Transfers report that Brighton's Pedro Neto is one of those on the shortlist. The Seagulls will demand at least £50 million for the 22-year-old. Now, Joao Pedro ticks a lot of the boxes that Mikel Arteta likes. He's incredibly versatile. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play as a number 9. His contract expires June 30th, 2028. In terms of him as a player profile, his number 1 position is a centre forward, but he has played as a second striker and as a left winger and as a right winger. He's right-footed. He joined to Brighton for around 32 million euros. I believe last summer. In terms of his individual stats, he come out from Fluminense in Brazil, joined Brighton, played at Watford as well. Very good stats, considering he hasn't always been the number 1 striker at Brighton. Of course, they've got the young Irish lad. Can't remember what his name is off the top of my head now. 20 goals in 40 games for Brighton with 3 assists, 23 goal contributions in 40 games. For me, he's a very good return for a player at Brighton. And he's got 33 goal contributions in 109 in Watford. And for Fluminense, 10 goals and 2 assists. Now, when you look at that in isolation, he's got Europa League experience. Very good return for Brighton. 6 goals in 6 games. I don't know why there's an adverts popping up galore on Transfer Market. Premier League record for me is there's another advert, mate. Go away. 62 games, 12 goals, 4 assists, 16 goal contributions. So that's roughly 1 goal contribution every 4 games. Not always being a regular starter, not always being a regular player for both Watford and Brighton. Going to be very, very interesting to see how that, oh my God, another advert, how that pans out with regards to Arsenal. Does he come off the bench? Does he, in his championship record, 27 GA in 73 games is very good as well. FA Cup, 6 goal contributions, 6 goals in 6 games in the FA Cup. So 22 years of age, can play both left wing, right wing, and a striker at £50 million for a 22-year-old who's got bags of potential. For me, I don't necessarily think that is horrendous business. I think that would be a relatively good signing for Arsenal. And then you've also got the likes of Pedro Neto, who is heavily linked with a move there. So Arsenal, Nico Williams has been linked to this huge offer to Arsenal. Then you've got the likes of Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro. Then you've got Victor Gyökeres, but also Court of Side have come out and said Arsenal are tipped to hijack Victor Osimhen. So there is bundles of links linking Arsenal to forwards. I think they get the Mikel Merino deal over the line, but could they potentially sign Victor Osimhen? It says Arsenal are hopeful to signing a new striker before the close of the summer transfer window. The Gunners have made so far 2 permanent signings. We know that already. Let's move down to, it says, Gunners plotting late Victor Osimhen move, consequently looking to beef up their attacking options. Mikel Arteta, according to Football Insider, is considering pursuing a move for Napoli's Victor Osimhen. The Italians are reluctant to sell their man for less than what they deem he's worth. Has been proven by PSG's failed prospect. The league and Giants agreed personal terms of Osimhen, but have failed to convince Napoli to give the green light. That's also now opened the door for other clubs. It says, just like PSG, London rivals Chelsea, Arsenal have had long standing interest with the Nigerian. However, the Gunners, despite already selling Smith Rowe to Fulham, must continue to offload before they can recruit, according to Calcio Masato. Napoli value Osimhen, who scored 17 goals and registering 4 assists in 32 games, a whopping £85 million, which is 100 million euros. Academy striker Eddie Nketiah, who are failing to cement his place in the first team, is another player available and remains strongly linked to a move to Marseille. And then it goes on to speak about Victor Gyökeres is another high striker on the Arsenal radar. Well, I believe Romano come out with an update regarding Victor Osimhen. Now, the interest about this is, understand Arsenal want at least 35 million euros for Eddie Nketiah. So that's around £30 million, which would be relatively good business for Arsenal. That's why they rejected the first proposal of 27 million from Olympique Marseille, as revealed on Friday. No agreements between 2 clubs, and Olympique Marseille could now start looking at a few options. And then, of course, Youssef Muoko, who I believe is a striker. I believe he come out of, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it's the Manchester City Academy he come out of. Of course, he's a centre-forward, German centre-forward, just about to sign for Marseille. Does this change Marseille's approach with regards to Eddie Nketiah? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. In terms of Youssoufa Muoko, he's going to join Marseille. He likes the project. Negotiations are underway. Does that necessarily look at now? Does that now necessarily look at them not moving for Eddie Nketiah? I don't know. It'd be very, very interesting to see what happens. If Arsenal can get rid of Nketiah for 35 million euros, then I believe they will move for someone else. Now, in terms of Arsenal's attacking options, there's plenty of options they're looking at right now. But I do believe the next 72 hours, Mikel Merino will be done. And then it's about moving forward to see what happens with Victor Osimhen, Joao Pedro, Pedro Neto, Gyökeres, and Williams. We are going to be doing a match reaction for Tottenham versus Bayern Munich. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. I am